My first experience with the Academy was a one-day workshop, and I made such a profound shift in that one day that I knew I would work with her. Working with Emily this week has been profound and amazing, and the way she presents it, if you listen, you get it.
Welcome, everyone, to the 716 episode of Akashic Answers with Emily. I'm just going to check my mic here, make sure you guys can hear me. 1 second. I got to get this Yeti plugged in. All right, check 1 2, check 1 2. Not yet. All right, let me know if you can hear me. What is up, Sebastian? Welcome. I am happy you are here. Welcome to you too. Whether you are joining live or joining on the replay, you have found yourself inside of a sacred classroom, a sacred space known as the Akashic Records. Welcome everybody to the 716 episode of Akashic Answers with Emily. I am your host and founder here inside the Akashic Academy. My name is Emily Harrison. In case we haven't met, this is my mama, Jan Harrison, everybody, who is here in the house. Say hello to Mama and say hello to each other as you're coming on into this space. I am the founder director here inside the Akashic Academy, training visionaries and thought leaders across the planet how to tap into the space of their Akashic Records. If you are not familiar with the Akashic Records, this is the most profound spiritual technology that you can be using for self-discovery right now. So congratulate yourself if you have found yourself here. Your intuition, your higher self has brought you into this space, this sacred classroom for learning. Here's how the Akashic Records work. The Akashic Records hold all information, past, present, all possible futures, and is recorded from a neutral perspective. Neutral means unconditional love and zero judgment. Hello, Juliet. We're happy you are here. First timer, right on. You might notice that caveat, unconditional love and zero judgment. This is the frequency of our divine design, of our divine blueprint. And you also may have noticed what I will refer to as a frequency fence here on planet Earth, where it can be challenging to feel, to tap in, and really hold that frequency of unconditional love and zero judgment. That, however, is the gateway to our innate intelligence, to our goddess-like intelligence. And if you are here on the planet right now, your soul volunteered to be here during a time of rapid evolution, rapid awakening, a rapid remembrance of the truth of who we are, because there are paradigms, constructs, things happening on this planet that we're all adhering to like it's normal, and it's not supporting, these constructs are not supporting the highest evolution of humanity. Okay, these look like constructs with our money, constructs with spirituality, constructs with our relationships, constructs with job and how we give away our time for money. And there are higher orders of operation for a society. You and I and those watching here on the replay and a lot of other people here on the planet, we're just going to call them in, the light workers in, we hold the codes within us to the new society, what that looks like, this new construct of humanity. All right, so that's why we need the Akashic Records, is to aid and assist us in this time of remembrance, the remembrance of soul truth. Earth School is a high-level zone of soul mastery in the cosmos. If you are here right now, you're not a newbie to the game of soul evolution. Yes, your soul volunteered to be here on this time, during this time, and to assist in the wake up by waking up yourself. Waking up to your own patterns, right? The Akashic Records help us to see what it is that we are creating. I said Earth School, high-level school. We have a whole lot of consciousness, guys. Think about it in terms of God consciousness. We are here and made in the likeness and image of God, Goddess, to experience ourselves as creators. This technology, your human spacesuit, is technology that allows consciousness to know itself. You're part of an amazing experiment that's happening here in the galaxy. And the Akashic Records hold the intelligence of our soul forward and backward through time and can help reveal this higher level of understanding of not only who we are, but what our mission is, what part we play here on the planet right now. And it's really exciting. It looks like the illumination of our dormant DNA. So we are experiencing an awakening of skills that have been here for humanity the whole time, like being psychic, like being telepathic, having activated dreamscape, where we can not only travel within our dreams, but we can learn within our dreams, where we collaborate, where we live in peace, prosperity, plenty. This is the divine design for humanity. And if you're here right now on the planet, you are part of this evolution of humanity remembering itself and remembering its truth. All right. I'm here to help you by helping you remember that there's technology you can use to assist along the way. It's called the Akashic Records. Before I discovered the Akashic Records, I knew that there was more to life. I knew there was more than what was beyond the five senses. And the truth is, I was right. There is a whole lot more. Your soul has been at this cosmic work for a very long time. You have unique gifts, powers, skills that are not only going to help you make your life feel really exciting and in awe again. Who wants to feel like they're in awe again, living a life here on this earth plane? Can become very disillusioning. Is that a word? It is now. Oh. If we are looking through the perspective of the matrix, the Maya, the illusion, we are seeing all of the darkness, all of the shadow, all of the lies, all of the suppression. And that's what we're here to transmute. We're here to say, yeah, no, that's no. And then we get to choose differently. We get to create differently. We have powerful consciousness here on the planet. And you start by creating within yourself, taking responsibility for how you want to feel, what you want to experience in this life, and then dissecting yourself so that you can actually create that. Because you can create and experience anything you want to. It's a sum adding up of your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. All right. I'm going to stop monologuing here. Let's see. What else do I want to tell you guys? The records work by what's known as invitation only, which means we have to ask the questions. Okay, the records will give us what we are ready to receive. How do the records know what we're ready to receive? We ask questions. Here are some examples of some really great questions you guys can ask. All right, I'm not going to read them out loud. Y'all can read and go into the comments there and see them. Here's the idea, though. You refrain from yes or no questions when you're talking about all of the intelligence in the cosmos, in the universe. Let's get a little deeper with it, y'all. Ask some good questions. Maybe you've heard this before. The nature of our consciousness can be measured by the questions that we ask. So think about areas in your life where you feel stuck, and it would be valuable for you to have soul level wisdom, guidance, clarity about why your ass is still stuck there. Because there's something that you still need to learn, or else you would cycle through that opportunity for soul growth. You might call them challenges. Challenges are just actually opportunities for our soul to become more resourceful. So those are great questions to ask the Akashic Records. And not to say that you get to a point where you got to stop checking in about challenges. Although it's valuable, especially if you're first starting this work or if you're new to this work, ask questions about self, about areas where you're stuck. Because here's the deal. The areas where you're stuck in your life, you're holding a denser vibrational frequency. It's taking up space in your bandwidth. And once we get rid of that, that's when you open up and really start tapping into creative genius. Right? But that's another really amazing way to use the Akashic Records, is to understand what your gifts are in this lifetime and how you get to use them. Alexandria, thank you for loving me. I love you too. Julietta says, looking forward to the consciousness of our real selves. Yes. I'm just going to go ahead and set that intention while you guys are lighting up my chat box with your questions. And thank you today, because you make the show. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to spend the next about 40 minutes with y'all. And I'm going to channel in the Akashic Records for you, which, by the way, when you come into this sacred space, I have gone through a ceremonial process to open up the frequency of the Akashic Records. When you step in, you are moving through that frequency fence, that barrier where it can be challenging for you to experience yourself from the place of unconditional love. It can be challenging for you to experience yourself and others from the state of zero judgment. Allow yourself to just feel that energy. See if you can notice that as I bring your awareness to it. Setting the intention that that energy reveals itself to each one of you in a unique way, so that you can begin to know this frequency of unconditional love, zero judgment, to know yourself through this space, to have the courage to see the truth. And my intention is that you get to feel that, you get to experience that today, you get to glimpse that as you come into my sacred classroom. And as we dive into the questions, I'm going to ask Spirit to bring my awareness to questions that will serve all of us here today. And not only will I tap in individually for each one of you, or for the questions that, we work through here together on the air, but I'll also bring in an activation, a healing from the Akashic Records to benefit all of us. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get rocking and rolling. Mesa Ware, I'm glad you're here. Good question. How can I balance my desire for financial success with the spiritual path? All right. Tap in for you, Mesa. Well, the first thing that the guides want to talk about is really allowing ourselves to receive abundance for our gifts and our skills. Many of us feel awkward or strange or weird about that, especially if our gifts and skills are looked at as spiritual. And the guides are saying right now, really, we need to start looking at all of our gifts and skills, not just the skill of like what we think of more as spiritual woo skills like channeling, or helping to like healing. And those of you out there who are healers and you're familiar and understand that term, you understand we use that term with context. I can't actually heal anybody else. I can only create an environment and invite you or show you how I've healed myself before and hold space for you while you do it. But it's a shift of energy. Like healing really just is a shift of energy and releasing. We talked about that a lot last week. Actually, the records gave a very specific protocol around how to heal yourself of anything on last week's show. So make sure you go check that out if you need specific healing. But recognizing that it's okay and it's good to receive money for our gifts and skills, for serving humanity. Okay, we want to hold the energy and the frequency of reciprocity, which means balance. All right, and notice we even got the word balance here in the question. How can I balance my desire for financial success with the spiritual path? Well, where most people are in terms of their balance is they've like swung the other direction, where it's hard to even say and command and take ownership of, yes, I want to get paid well for my genius. Most people are still in that space of self-sacrifice, especially around spiritual gifts and service, feeling like we are obligated in some form or fashion to give them away for free. And the guides are saying it's really important to look at money as an energy And it's important that all of us look at our relationship with money. Relationships and how we build relationships here on the planet. It's fundamental soul learning and growth that applies in all areas of our life. Whether we're talking about money, it's actually a relationship to money. Whether you're talking about your health, it's a relationship to health. Whether you're talking about, I see Alexander here talking about an abusive mother. Whether you're it's our relationship to these things. Okay, so the guides really want us to focus in on our relationship to money right now. And they want to go back, they want to help everybody find any area where you created a construct for yourself where it wasn't okay for you to receive money for your gifts and skills, or that there was a constriction around that for you. Okay, we're just going to call white light into that right now. Maybe you felt awkward and uncomfortable. Maybe you had a bad experience where somebody shamed you, no-no'd you for doing that. Go back in. Shift this energy here. Reversing the energy around the Stargate where we've got some false constructs moving into the planet, doing some grid work. Thank you guys for doing the grid work here, so that we can tap into that energy more easily. That's the divine design, is that we all get paid in abundance for our unique gifts and skills and service to humanity. And because we get paid in abundance, it keeps us in our highest frequency, where we can tap into the genius and further our own soul's growth, learning, and understanding, because we also can recognize that we're going to learn a lot when we're here on the planet. If you're here, you're on the path, you continue to embrace lesson after lesson of the soul plane and show up at it from a state of mastery, your soul is going to be such a master by the time you're done working here. Just think about it from that perspective. Okay? So you can start to really reframe, flip the script, and fully embrace our challenges, because the challenges really help us to become more resourceful. That's the divine design here on the planet. Okay? We are designed to receive in abundance for what lights us up, what doesn't even feel like work. Okay, and so many of us are programmed right now around there are neural program connections that, like, you think of work and you don't get excited. Some of you might. Actually, let me just take a little bit of poll. Let me take a little poll. Take two. Let me take a little poll. If you get excited when you think about work in your life, type excited in the comments. If you're not excited, type not excited. Just so I can kind of feel into like where you guys are today when it comes to work. I freaking love my job. I love waking up in the morning. I love everything about it. I made it up myself. Yes, there are challenges to my job. I get overwhelmed often. Something that I get to work through. Hello, Atia. All right. And I love it. Excited. Yes, great. Excited? Not excited anymore. Okay. So for me, I had to make up my own job. That's my secret sauce to really loving your job, is you got to make up your own job. And there are, for those of you who do feel like that's your path here, as a spiritual entrepreneur and you're creating, like, one of the reasons that I love my job is because I love the way that I help people. I love being a teacher. I love traveling, and I have consciously created the way that I want to show up and help serve the planet in a way that is wildly fun for me. So basically, 2 questions that you want to ask yourself in your soul. Hi, Shannon. Shannon knows me from my past life when I was an actress in Hollywood. Shannon is still an actor. He's awesome, by the way. Yep. There are things about that job that I loved and things about that job that I did not love. Hollywood, you can imagine. There's a lot of excitement to it. There's a whole lot of rejection. There's a whole lot of resilience. Learning improv, though, basically trains me to do spiritual work, because this work, and by the way, if you are experiencing your psychic gifts and skills turning on, it will feel very much like a game of improv, meaning the messages as they're flowing into your mind, you want to keep talking, keep playing with them as if you're making it up as you're going along. Okay. It's the key, the secret. Okay. Let me see what else the guides want to say about the money. We want to do they've been doing some rewiring here. They want to make that awareness known as we've been talking here. And they want everybody to do this exercise right now, whether you actually go through with it or not. Try it on for me. It's going to be very powerful. The more people on the planet that do this one, the more powerful it is. Think about for a second, one, what are your superpowers? What do you love to do? What are you super good at? What could you do all day long and it doesn't even feel like work? Just think about it right now. We're illuminating the field with this possibility. We're strengthening the current of that together. Like I said, whether you do it or not. Cool. Now answer the question, what would be wildly fun for you? And just let your mind go. No restriction, no resistance. Just we're playing here. We're just shooting frequencies, shooting energies out there from the space of unconditional love and zero judgment. Cool. And that's the way we need to think about wiring ourselves to receive money. So we want to be in alignment with that path where we are in our genius zone, we're in our medicine. That's your superpower. And then also what's wildly fun for us. Okay. We don't want any more of that feeling like you hate going to work. So let's just hold that frequency for ourselves and humanity. Type yes in the comments if you want to experience what that kind of world for yourself and for your loved ones would be like. Well, isn't today just powerful? Rewiring the humanity to love their jobs. And just think about this, though, guys. Think about the ripple effects. Okay. Think about the ripple effects of humanity that loves their job, that feels inspired and creative and a desire to collaborate. Yes, as you feel that, as you tap more into that, we are together collectively holding the frequency of the new earth here together today. So thank you guys. Powerful work. All right. Alexander says, I am very confused with life right now. I'm having to deal with CPS, literally kidnapping my children, and have placed them with my abusive mother. My girls are 2, 4, and 13 and not speak to me. Whew, that is very challenging. Okay, so you also your abusive mother not speak to me. Okay, you seem to be cursed with. All right, so that's the first place that we're going to dive in. There is, yeah, sometimes there are circumstances that happen in our life where we feel like we've been cursed, like life is happening to us. And this is where the Akashic Records can be very graceful and gentle with us. Although I'm going to be really honest with you, Alexandria, and everybody else who feels a victim to anything in your life or cursed, like see being cursed as being a victim. From that perspective, we can't make any shifts and changes. You're only going to get more of that. So we've got to be willing to take radical responsibility, radical self-responsibility, and say, what is here for me to learn? Why did my soul invite this? And Alexandra, what the guides are saying in terms of your situation is this gives you the opportunity to fully clear the victim storyline from your ancestral lineage. And it's very challenging work. Very powerful and effective, though. Okay, and the guides are bringing up into my mind Viktor Frankl, concentration camp guy, who said they can take everything from us except our positive outlook and attitude. That is ultimate freedom, is when we choose how we want to feel regardless of outside circumstances. And Alexandra, this is 100% a very intense, challenging invitation to feel like you're not a victim when you're under these circumstances. But that's the goal, and that's what you want to ask help seeing from your guides, from your higher perspective, from higher wisdom, is understanding why. Okay. Again, last week, the guides talked about very specifically what happens or how to go through healing protocols. All right. So understanding why we called it in, we also have to understand the gift within the wound, which again, Alexander, can be very, very tricky in these circumstances. You want to find the gift for you personally, not just the gift of clearing this for future generations. That is a gift. But this has the potential to be a very powerful, intense healing for you and your family if you can get very clear on what your part is. And we all play a part. Okay, let me see what else that the guides want to say. Okay, thank you for receiving this. Beautiful. The guides are also saying, ask for help and support, staying calm, being calm within yourself. Okay, because as you get more and more agitated and more defensive, you're triggering more of that energy in this. They're showing me this as like a almost, you think of it as a program running in the Matrix. Oh yeah, my head just did something very weird. All right, they also want to talk specifically about a dream. Have you had a dream about this, or are you having dreams about it, Alexandra? The guys we're gonna work on clearing the victim mentality. I want everybody to think about now, where do you feel most like a victim in your life? I've got them too. I'll play along too. In order to fully take our sovereignty back, we want to release the victim construct. So hold that clarity in your mind now, wherever you feel like a victim, and we're going to shift, move, and evaporate that. So first, face and feel, though. Let's just honor and allow it. Alexander says, I don't dream. Okay. Let's stay with the work here. I'll go back to the dream insight that was coming in, but let's stay with the work around clearing the victim mentality. So first, we want to face and feel, honor, acknowledge where we feel that. Now give yourself an, of course I do, because fill in the blank. Just give yourself a little bit of grace. Okay. Cool. Ask your guides to show you how this is serving you, how the victim mentality has been serving you. Even if it's dysfunctional, it usually is. Good. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. Ask the guides to show you how it's not serving you. Okay, now once you have this understanding of yourself, you have this data on yourself, it's easier to make an informed decision, because really what's happening is you're just going about your life making uninformed decisions on so quickly that you're not even aware of them. And what do I mean by an uninformed decision? What do the guides mean by an uninformed decision? Meaning you haven't stopped to check in and get all of this information that we just got about your ass feeling like a victim. See all the information that's connected there? That's why they call the planet Earth an Akashic library planet. Because if you slow down, if you ask yourself the right questions, intelligence will illuminate itself everywhere, and you will understand yourself with a higher level of mastery. And then choosing differently is super simple. Oh, I see why I've been playing the victim role. I see why it's hindering me, and I want to choose something that I'm not going to choose that anymore, because I am choosing it. Every time we're experiencing it, it's because we're choosing it. All right, send some love, likes, hearts across the screen if that was valuable to you, to have a little real-time work in healing yourself of victim mentality here in the records. Some of you are going to want to go back and watch this again and maybe take some notes. All right. Alexander says you don't remember the dreams, but you used to have the same dream over and over, which was about a fire. It was extremely scary. My house burnt down. And then extremely scary. And then your house burnt down. And you never had that dream, and you never really dreamed again. Okay. Yes. So Miss Alexandra, yeah, you have likely gotten very persecuted for your skills before. You obviously have really powerful skills. Thank you, Barbara. And everyone else out there who's supporting and sending energy in for Alexandra, and all of us as we transform here together, begin to see our own patterns and take ownership of our patterns. So yeah, it sounds like to me you have some really powerful skills that you didn't have guidance and training on how to work with, and they were premonitions that you experienced. I would probably shut mine down too. That's scary. How many of you else out there? Yeah, understand. You shut that down. And if you're here on the planet right now with that kind of a skill set, y'all, you're here to use it. And there's probably part of your soul that's angry, screaming, kicking, screaming, feeling like that part of you wants to get out, and you're holding that part of you down in victimization. All right, so the guides want to also say this is the lifetime where we are safe to experience our potential in all the causal planes. You have not only the right to experience in this lifetime, it's the kind of alignment and work that we've done to get here. We have galactic alignment supporting rapid evolution, which means You can experience your physical potential, emotional potential, mental potential, spiritual potential, all in this lifetime. Whereas previously, you might work on one small aspect of one area. Like maybe you have a mental construct around scarcity or around self-sacrifice, and you work on it just in one lifetime. And maybe your self-sacrifice lifetime, where you're working on just that, you look like you're a farmer and you're working yourself to the bone. Okay? Can you notice that? Regina says, good stuff. Thank you for letting me know this is landing. Because sometimes I just feel like I'm up here talking, y'all. Seriously. That's why I need to ask questions. All right. So in this lifetime, we have the opportunity to transmute rapidly and on all the causal planes. We're going to release that victim mentality. Victim mentality is connected to one of the primal. I talked about stargates here. Wait, hang on. Take two. That happens sometimes when there are a lot of files open. I start one sentence and then I don't finish the other sentence and I jump to the next file. And I'm meaning files, meaning the info that's coming in from the records. I talked about stargates earlier and how some of the streams of consciousness that are flowing into this planet through certain ones of the stargates, it's distorted. It's under the influence of, you can look at it as darkness, ego, shadow. We humans hold the key to reclaiming the control of the stargates. That's pretty much what we're doing right here together. We're saying, no, we're not going to accept those currents that come in and support, us staying in slavery, darkness, being asleep at the truth of who we are. We're going to wake up. We're going to choose something differently. And the more and more of us that do that, the faster we reverse these currents for all of humanity. Okay, self-sacrifice is a huge one. Juliet's talking here. I feel like a victim every time I help people financially and they don't pay back and now I'm in debt. At the end of the day, I blame myself why I acted like a savior. All right, the only up level that I want to give you right there, good for seeing the pattern. Just don't blame yourself, because blame and shame will kick us back down to the lowest vibrational frequency of consciousness. And then we're cycling through perspectives of ourselves that don't serve and aren't helpful. Like blame, shame, that shit keeps us really dense and low. So just congratulate yourself for learning. This is fantastic. So now you get to choose differently. If you switch that part about blaming yourself, right? Because what happens with the blame is that the blame lowers our vibrational frequency, and you're going to cycle through the issue again. So somebody's going to come along next time, and your defenses are going to be low because of the blame energy. And you're going to fall back into the same pattern of helping them again, feeling like, well, maybe this time it'll be different. Because the blame lowers our vibrational frequency. When standing in our power might look like helping somebody learn how to get resourceful. Yeah, you're still just learning, Miss Juliet. You in the right place. Good stuff. And how generous, by the way. I have had people lend me money along the course of my life and save my ass from some situations. And I've been really grateful about that. All right. So find we can look at whatever side we want. And our vibrational frequency will shift and change based on that perspective. Okay. Wait, sorry, Alexandra. I wanted to go to Juliet's. Wait. Where did I want to go? I wanted to go to, where were we talking about Juliet talking about the savior complex. So two really big distortions coming through at different stargates that F us up, quite frankly. One is this false savior complex energy, areas where we sacrifice or we worship sacrifice or we will self-sacrifice. That's not the divine way. The divine way is to give from overflow, which means we must take care of ourselves first, and we must support each other in that. And then it creates a powerful collaboration energy rather than the energy drain. Okay, so that's one false perspective that's running through humanity that's depleting us of a whole lot of our energy and our power. So if you can see where that's alive within you, you can flip that switch right now. I'll hold the space while you flip the switch, flip the current. Take care of yourself. Give them a space of overflow. It's not that hard, really. It is until it isn't. Here's the other place where we get really messed up. Along with that self-sacrifice, guys, there's an addiction to suffering there. Oops, excuse me. Like when you think about the Jesus on the cross energy and that ultimate sacrificial energy and how it programs us, there's also an addiction to suffering in there. And I've been inviting my guides to show me the places where I'm addicted to suffering, and I'm beginning to see it. It's quite illuminating. So if you want to see that in yourself, it hides in subconscious places. Subconscious means it's below your awareness. So I encourage you all to just invite that forward right now in the space of higher mind. If you have the courage to know the truth about yourself, where are you addicted to suffering? Okay, so I'm lumping, just so you're following me, let me recap one more time. Two main problems, big problems that are, they're reverse currents running through humanity, false thought forms. One of them is around self-sacrifice and addiction to suffering. That's number one. I lumped all of that together. Number two is learned helplessness. Because the truth is, we are powerful AF. And when we get ourselves together and we start collaborating together, oh my God. However, if we stay in states of perceived learned helplessness, or that's how we view ourselves, that's why victim mentality is so dangerous, because it keeps us in a state of perceived helplessness. And if you perceive that, Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you are correct. Our thoughts create our reality. This is a mental construct. The universe is mental in nature. Everything comes from a thought. You have been given free will to think however you want to about yourself. Think about that level of power and consciousness. That is the God consciousness experience here on the planet. I think, therefore I am. So you see why reversing these currents are so powerful, because if we continue to think helpless thoughts about ourselves, that contributes to the timeline of destruction. And there is a separation of timelines that we're experiencing. There's a positive timeline, and there's a separation. There's a dimension of Earth that will continue moving forward in darkness, and there will be a timeline. You're on the positive timeline right now if you are here, where we are moving our consciousness into this space by reversing these energies, rewriting our own codes. All right, makes sense? Send some love, likes, hearts across the screen if you're having fun today. All right, so here's the deal, guys. The Akashic Records are something that I learned to read. There's a methodological little way. My third eye's blipping. That you can learn how to read the Akashic Records too. And this is truly my area of expertise, is training others how to read their Akashic Records. Why do you want to learn how to read your Akashic Records? Because once you learn how to read your own Akashic Records, you're going to be able to see your patterns. You're going to be able to understand, like walk, you just start healing yourself of all your shit. Here's the deal. I definitely give you the questions. I teach you how to access the records and then give you the questions to start reading your own records so you can figure out how you're programmed. And it's quite fun along as well. If you had fun here today, get ready for some even bigger fun. But here's the deal. Here's what I really want you to know about the Akashic Records is that they're a self-teaching technology, which means my job is to teach you how to use them, how to get yourself acclimated so you have access to the highest frequencies possible. And then from that point, your guides begin to teach you your own innate intelligence. I call them your guides. It's just another way to describe the intelligence that's available or how the intelligence comes through the Akashic Records for us. All right, but this is designed to be a self-teaching mechanism for you, which will aid you and assist you in making instantaneous decisions, bringing you instantaneous wisdom, guidance, and clarity in your life. Downloads, ahas like Nikola Tesla. You can learn to tap in and get these. I reverse engineer things about my business for my clients. You have access to super conscious intelligence. All right. So if you want to learn more about your ability to access this technology and how you get to use it in your life, I want you to hop on a call with me. Let's talk about it. There's a link. You can book your discovery call. All right. I'm just going to scroll back here. Oh, I have some really exciting news too. Let me just make sure that there are any more questions here that the guides want me to dive into. Regina doing the work. I love it. Okay. Super exciting news. Barbara says, thank you for my time. Thank you too, Miss Barbara, for being here. We have gotten the green light and funding for season 1 of a docu-series with Connect TV called The Mountain is Calling. This is about the expedition that happens on Mount Shasta, using and anchoring, harnessing the energy signature, not only of that chakra point, that Stargate, if you will, the chakra point of the planet, but also that Stargate cosmic energy that comes in to align our timelines to the one of our highest potential for those people who are here to have, who are just, you're here to make big impact on the planet. And you know it. So I am super excited. Stay tuned for more about this docu-series. We are working in partnership with Connect TV, who has an audience of a reach of over 1 billion potential in their audience. So there is sponsorship opportunities, product placement opportunities for those of you who have spiritually aligned businesses or products. This is an awesome time to talk about some collaborative joint venture opportunities. So if you are interested in that, reach out to me. We can talk more about that. I love you guys. Reach out to me at Emily@theakashicacademy.com. Okay. Or if you have other questions for me about today and what you learned on the show, you can email me there, guys. I like to make myself super reachable. And if you want to book a call to talk specifically about your journey in the Akashic Records, I want you to follow that link that I sent. All right. For the discovery call. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'll catch you back here next week. All right.
I decided to go to Shasta, and the whole retreat was amazing. I love Shasta. After that week, I was blown away. I signed up for to work with Emily for a whole year. My business has streamlined in a way that it has just shot, not even forward, everywhere. I've only been working with Emily for 3 months, and I'd say that everything has shifted. So it's been amazing.